Are you ready, Nancy?
Yep.
CAO report and action list, page 67. Councillor Panasic.
I move that we receive CAOs, it's not acting anymore, it's actual, the real CAOs, Brian Martinson, written report and action list for information.
Mr. Martinson.
It's only because he was appointed tonight.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Actually had a very busy last couple weeks here. Mayor Cox and myself met with Jason McDougall, the owner of the Field Store, and it was a very good meeting. Mayor will cover it in her report, but to look at the gentleman, he looked like he was, I would say, mid-20s, which he's probably like 35 years old or so older. And for a young guy at that to take a risk that he did and buy in the 60 stores that he did was amazing. Like how he went about it. And he basically explained to us this process that he had to go through to buy the stores, how he's going to improve this store to attract more people, and we got him the mayor did, committed to purchasing some benches and garbage cans possibly for the walkway to the new hospital. So he basically said that he would have them built, whatever designed, he'd ship them here, and I think it was 5, he told us. I met with Lee Barton, General Manager, West Fraser, regarding the expansion of their new mill. He basically said that the expansion was going to cost West Fraser approximately another $1 million, and it would increase their production as high as another 80% the amount of lumber. So they're very enthused about their meeting. Again, we're meeting, actually, I haven't met with Amanda yet, but she postponed, but Vern and myself have a meeting with her. She's with ATCO, and on the construction that's going to be coming up in High Prairie this year and how it'll affect ATCO. And so we got a meeting with them on Thursday. The Golden Age Club also started their repairs. They've done their eavesdrops now. We just initialed and signed the payables for that, and they're supposed to be getting a gentleman over there to start doing the blow-in insulation. And I think they got a meeting here in the next couple of days, and then they're going to be closed down for like a month or whatever. I said hopefully it doesn't take them that long, but that's the next step in their renos. Also attended the Municipal Affairs Regional Training Session at the Elk Hall with Councillor Gilroy, Panasic. It was very good. I was surprised at the number of people that actually attended from surrounding areas, from other municipalities. You know, yeah, like you said, as far away as High Level. It was
55 people.
Yeah, very impressive.
They said it was the best percentage of attendance for people who had actually registered they've ever had.
It's very good, very informative. So, any questions on the action list?
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Councillor Donato?
I just have a question regarding the second motion there, 493/15, regarding meeting with Lori Matthews to draft the long-term lease agreement. Do we have a timeline? Do we have any idea?
I just actually probably a couple of weeks ago, I gave Lori the same lease agreement as to because I hadn't heard nothing back from her, the same as what the museum had. And I basically told her to start using that as a template to get going on this, because we've been waiting here for a while on this stuff. So,
Any other questions for Mr. Martinson?
The recreation budget, motion 119/16, the recreation board approved a budget of 568,145.50, and they'll be sending it to you for your information. So they did manage to bring it down.
So what I'll do is, when I do receive it, I'll put it in each of the counselors' box for each counselor to review. Don't think we have to bring it back to council, and then we'll strike this from the action list also. Once when we receive it, and I have distributed it.
And motion 27316, that's the joint meeting between the Alberta Health Services and the Big Lakes County. Oh, Big Lakes County wanted to be in on that meeting also. That's on page 70 at the very top. So that one is moving forward also, and you'll be receiving information shortly on the date. And I'm not sure what's happening with the airport. Okay, so that's come up in Canada, all right. That's the only questions I have.
Councillor Long?
Just a point of interest regarding the airport. At the Northern Rural Communities Open Forum in Winnipeg, there were several communities and one that got up and spoke at the mic regarding their airports and how cost prohibitive it is now with all the new radar and new GPS navigation systems that have to be updated all the time, to the point where they're leaving their airports basically out of commission and or are close to that. So it was interesting to see that we're not the only ones that are facing this sort of problem as to what to do. You have the minister on one side saying the best thing you can do is keep your airport going. You got the other people on the other side saying how, and nobody's saying, well, we'll do this. And so it made it hard. Anyway, it's just a point of interest.
Any other questions on the report? Okay, all those in favor of accepting his report? Carried.
Check listing,
Page 72, Mayor Cox?
Move that council receive the check listing for council for May 11th to May 31st, 2016 for information.
Any questions on the check listing? All those in favor? Collaborative Community Action Plan Meeting. 7-1, page 77. Do you have a motion? Councillor Danaka?
The council received the invitation excuse me, to the Collaborative Community Action Plan meeting put on by the High Prairie and Area Prevention of Family Violence Association from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. on Thursday, June 23rd, 2016 at the High Prairie and District Children's Resource Council for information.
Mayor Cox?
I really feel that we should be supporting our social agencies in this town, at least to the extent of attending one meeting to find out what exactly they are planning on doing. This looks to me like a new initiative for family violence, and I think as councillors we should at least investigate what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Councillor Gilroy?
Having been previously involved with the High Prairie and Area Prevention of Family Violence Association, they have been trying to do this for quite some time. Actually, trying to get everything on board. One of the purposes that they're looking at is trying to avoid duplication of services, so that 5 or 6 groups aren't doing the same program, so that the people in the community will actually have access to one group as opposed to trying to figure out which group to go to. So they're trying to coordinate it so that we can have a clearer map of how to better work the community resources here.
I agree. Without a CRC representative too, we're sort of out of the loop with what's going on with these type of services. So I think that maybe we should look at least sending somebody to this. Mayor Cox?
And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but my other half says what are we here for? Are we a social agency or are we a tax? Are we a hard service group? So I really struggle with both of these.
Go ahead. Councillor Denaka?
I have no problem with whoever can as the appointed person to attend and see what it's all about, but I struggle if this is going to be a full-blown committee that we're going to be a part of. That's where my motion came from, to receive it for information, but I understand where you're coming from, Mayor Cox, in regards to having at least seeing what they're about. So I have no problem with one meeting, but if it's going to become a committee that we're attending, I have some concerns.
No, and I agree with you too. And I wonder that whoever goes, maybe we could ask the executive director. We did ask them before when we got out of the CRC, as far as having a regular, tender, to come and report to us annually. And we haven't had that opportunity, so maybe there would be an opportunity for an update. Mr.
Something that you guys may not be aware of, but you guys are both paying for FCSS through the MD and yourselves, and the FCSS is the government's arm of social services. And so your representative that's working as the employee for FCSS should be bringing back a report to both town council and county council.
Yeah, and we have representation on FCSS.
And
we
they
have
were part of this.
No, they're not. Not CRC. No.
They're not?
No.
They should be.
They were, I think they were originally. Does anybody remember the history? They were originally, and then there were a branch that broke off of FCSS because it was Child and Family Services. I'm not certain the history, but they were, and that's what we did have representation on CRC, and we did, and then on FCSS, and now just on FCSS. But it would be good to sort of get updated with what's happening here as well. Any other comments, Councillor?
Based on the discussion that's been going around, I rescind my motion.
Do we have another motion? Mayor Cox?
The council approved the attendance of Councillor Gilroy to attend the Collaborative Community Action Plan meeting put on by the Hyperion Area Prevention of Family Violence Association from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday, June 23rd, 2016 at the Hyperion District Children's Resource Council, and bring a report back to council as to their mandate.
Any other comments?
I thought so.
That's a great motion.
Great.
Well done.
As long as I don't have to commit to anything.
Don't commit to
All I have to
anything.
do is just go there, take the notes, bring them back to you guys, and you guys decide. I'm
You
happy
said
with
it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Oh,
Carried.
I'm not gonna put it against anyone either.
Could have, it wouldn't have made a difference.
Are we on reports?
Okay, written reports.
Okay, I have the report from May 18th to June 7th, and I believe you have it in front of me. I don't think there's any questions on it. The meeting for the Fields meeting was on the afternoon of the 7th, and of course I'd already sent my report in. So the Fields meeting actually was a good meeting. He's a real entrepreneur, and it's nice to see an entrepreneur that is very, very enthusiastic about his business, and he was someone who has certainly taken a leap of faith and wants to do something for the community. So the 5 benches was an easy sell for him. We'll of course acknowledge the by putting a plaque on the benches, and he wants to continue to engage the community as of course any businessman would. And so, I mean, he's somebody that I think we could continue to work with and help him in any way we can. to be successful in our community.
Councillor Gilroy?
Just a quick question. You know the signs that we see at the beginning of both sides of the town that talk about different companies in the town or it's different services in town. Is that Alberta Transport or is that us? And if it's us, should we be looking at a way of sort of upgrading them to further sell places like Fields?
The
Mr.
signs
Walker?
are
Alberta Transportation.
Alberta Transportation, but there are other ones that are a private company, and I think they were called Three Penguins.
Yeah.
And they would also put your sign on, and that would be your KFC, your A&W, UFA, and that.
I'm
Those
just
are,
thinking that might be another option for him
to see
and
that.
other business offered that
But I have had a citizen in town suggest that we used to have signage at the ends of the town which listed our businesses. But this citizen said, why wouldn't you have something similar to what's by the United Church? It's a kiosk that's covered in from rain and that, and actually put some brochure places in there, and people could then put their business card or their brochure in there, protected from the rain, and use it as a kind of a community billboard. Now, you could probably put it by the Sports Palace once you move your dump station out. There is one there, but it's not covered, and that it gets a little bit of use, but I think if it was more protected from rain, you might see more business people using it as a community billboard.
Any other comments? Questions?
I move my report for information.
All those in favor? Next.
You have my report in front of you. Any questions?
Councillor Gilroy?
Actually, I was very curious. You had put there are no current brochures for High Prairie and Big Lakes County. It was under the VIS Visitor Information Center been receiving new tourism brochures, and you said there are no current brochures for our High Prairie. Was there any discussion on what we should do about it?
Darlene, I talked to Darlene the other day, and she talked to the MD about if they have any current brochures, because most of the tourism attractions are in the MD, the lakes, etc., and they have nothing. But I believe she said they are working on it.
So we do a joint project on?
Well, the LSA actually has a fun map, and I'll be certainly sure to bring a case over to her, because we certainly want to. We have 50 cases.
Bring them over, because
Yes.
she's got nothing.
And I thought I had given her a case, but maybe it didn't get there. And I thought the town had something. Do we have brochures, or do we have town maps?
Well, there's
'Cause-
some at the front counter too.
Yeah, so those are the rip-off town maps. And when I say rip-off, I mean you tear them off, not the rip-off ones.
That should be kind of fun, Chris.
She does have those as you walk in. There's a stack of them for people to tear off.
So we have the tear-off
We
maps.
have the rip-off.
So what else?
Councillor Danaka?
The only other thing I wanted to mention, and I forgot to ask Darlene when I was there yesterday, because she was at our meeting, we discussed the fact that at this tourism trade show, there was nobody from this area, anybody north of Edmonton promoting tourism up north other than Grand Prairie. And I had asked her if she could phone and find out how somebody goes about putting a booth or something to promote tourism in their area. And I forgot to ask her if she heard back from them as to if they just send notices out to people if they want to put a booth in, or if it's something that you have to pay for. So hopefully I'll have more information on that in my next report.
Any other questions? Councillor Danaka?
No more questions. I move my report for information.
All those in favor?
Awesome report.
Good job.
That's very good.
Councillor Gilroy.
I have to apologize, I didn't have a written one, but I do have a verbal one. I was so focused on going to the training, and I overlooked it, and I apologize. I know I apologize to Nancy once on this, but I apologize to the council on that. I was at the municipal planning committee, and they were finishing off probably 95% now. Right? He said there's just a couple in July 6th, the meeting. He's just got a couple snippets, and then they're going to have a package, a draft package. Oh, sorry.
We were just, we went through some more of the municipal planning, another 5 sets, and Haven has basically said that just a couple of pieces left to do, small pieces that can be done very quickly on the 6th, and then he'll put together a draft and it will come to council. And I think we projected we want to see it before council before the end of July, I believe. So, and then we can decide after that. But yeah, we're really questioning how if things were done in a way that would be very conducive to not only mapping out the community and how to best do land usage, but we're also questioning whether it was something that would actually encourage people to come here in the way that they were planning it out. So we were actually forward thinking a little in that. And so as I said, before the end of July, we hope to have a draft to give to present to council to consider. Okay, secondly, I went to the Northern Lakes Practical Nurse capping and pinning ceremony in Slave Lake, and to be honest, one of the highlights of that was the fact that we were mentioned. There was only Slave Lake, and then they mentioned that there was a representative from High Prairie. And the reason I said that's a highlight is because the day after the last council meeting, I was at JB Woods on the Wednesday, and pretty much every staff member there was an RPN that was going to graduate. Now, I didn't recognize all the names, but there's 45 graduates, and one of the towns further south of here, actually, they're closing down their nursing program. It's their last graduating class, but there's about 45, and most of them from Grand Prairie, some from Slave Lake, a couple from High Level and Peace, but I can't think of the one that's down. I think it's Barhead.
Barhead, Westlock.
Yeah, I think it's Barhead that's closing theirs down. But I also got to meet the president of the Northern Lakes. Just missed out on the chairman, but it was I think a very good thing in the sense that the only real politicians there for office, that is, was the mayor of Slave Lake, who did his speech, and they almost had me do a speech, but no. Anyway, so it was a very good, positive thing, and it was seen that we do appreciate and want to do more about the community there. And the final thing is I was at the Municipal Affairs Regional Training, and whoever pushed this, thank you. It was the first thing we did. I did the Building Community Resilience Through Asset Management, and it was the most fun activity because they also had clickers, so you could actually do live action clickers, and it was very, very effective to, yeah, you remember, it was really good. Yeah, and, okay, remotes then. One of the good things I found about it, I also went to the Municipal Finance and the Planning 202, which I found very helpful because there was a couple of points I didn't know about town planning that was and rezoning that was can be very important. And I think our representative there found out that there was a couple things she learned too, so I found it very valuable. But the other thing is making the contacts, as Councillor Rose would say. I was able to talk to the mayors, or the mayors of Donnelly, Falher, and explain, or actually have a little discussion, a little bit more of our helping service them with the peace officers. They did not quite understand our reasoning, but when I explained our reasoning for how we looked at the patrolling and the fact that we did not do a long-term relationship with them to give them an option because we were increasing it to recover costs, they were very enthusiastic. And so I said, just come back to Brian, our CAO, not acting, but our CAO, and renegotiate. And they're going to seriously consider renegotiating because they're extremely happy and they like the continuity of, because they said our guys were very good in helping, even with a rabid dog or a dog bite or something like that. So to me, that helped with the connection that Councillor Rose has been talking about a lot. And so I found it very valuable to do that. Okay, so move the acceptance of my report.
Mayor Cox?
How many graduates from
In-
Highbury?
See, what they did is they went by the actual schools themselves. And so they had said that, and this is from the president herself, we did not have the funds to have a class, a particular class from High Prairie. They're looking into grants to actually promote one, is what she had said to me, because she sees the value in it. So all the ones we've had coming through here may have been from here. You'd have to look at the names on the list, and I can leave that in the office, the graduating list, and recognize the names. But because we don't have a big enough center for it right now, you would have our residents having to go to Slave Lake or Grand Prairie or Peace, and then do their practical work here in JB Woods and those areas. But the ones I've talked to were very positive about their experience here. And just on a side note, I was coming out of the hospital after doing visitation, and I ran into one of their RPNs who was applying for a job here.
Any other questions on Councillor Gilroy's report? So you moved your report. All those in favor? Councillor Long. I see you threw something.
I have a written verbal report. Essentially, it's not here that I didn't get it in on time. So my apologies.
It's a lot.
So one of the reasons, and I stated in the report as well, that I went and was willing to go, is I wanted to try to determine if these types of conferences are of any benefit for us. It's a huge expense, and the jury's still out in a nutshell. It was good, but it was really designed, and this specific FCM was catering to rural, small town Canada, with all kinds of conferences.
6 different conferences, actually, I believe, that we're dealing with small town issues in rural Canada. But predominantly, the bigger issues were centered on major cities and communities, and they tended to have the floor as well. So if this is designed for us as a small community, I hate to see what it would have been like when it wasn't designated for small communities, because it was really hard. You couldn't see any ministers. You didn't have that ministerial access that you do in the AUMA. It was a colossal effort of trying to network and meet new people and get the ideas, and it was a tough one. It was a lot of fun, but it was a challenge. I met with Ashley Wallace from Environmental Defense and talked to her about the Blue Flag certification. Getting information for the watershed is one of the committees I'm on, and the Blue Flag certification it attempts to engage communities by establishing beach management committees to collaborate and create best practices in beaches and marinas, and it's in fresh and salt water. But the Blue Flag certification is now expanded to the point where there are people who do nothing but plan their vacations around the next Blue Flag destination. And we have 250 miles of pristine shoreline on Lesser Slave Lake, not taking into account all of the communities that are there. So the watershed already meets a lot of the criterion, and that would open up access to Alberta gaming funds. It gets international funding, it gets international advertisement for the area, for Lesser Slave Lake and our community and others. So that was one of the more interesting discussions I had, and it was quite lengthy. It was 2 days, basically 2 mornings of getting information on the Blue Flag program, which I have for the watershed. I visited the trade show daily while I was there, and there was over 63, I believe, exhibitors. Met with all of them, and then tried to disseminate which ones actually applied to us and which ones didn't. There were some really interesting ones for parks and for recycling programs. The discussion on infrastructure was huge. The Prime Minister and all of the opposition members that spoke, leaders that spoke, all talked about our infrastructure deficit and the monies that are available. So the monies are available. You got to get out there and get them. The Deputy Minister, who was, let's see, he sits, I sort of jumped a bit, but he sits on the Standing Committee for Finance. That's Wayne Easter from PEI. He's a 7-term MP, and when I spoke to him, he basically reiterated what he said in the rural forum in open house, and that was, be assertive, be aggressive. The money's there, and people are not applying for it. The preventative disaster money, the money that's out there for preventative maintenance, to prevent disaster instead of disaster relief, is virtually untouched, he said. Be aggressive, be assertive, speak loud, speak often. That's what he said. And so I attended most of the plenary speakers, and I believe I missed the Conservative member, Diana Watt, but other than that, was able to attend the conferences and do all of the voting. I voted everything at the conference, so that our voice at least was counted. But as I mentioned, there was a death in the family, and it made things a little difficult in the last part of the conference. And I move my report for council for information. I'll take any questions.
Questions? For Mr. Long, Councillor Long?
In a nutshell, before we vote, I don't believe that the FCM was as productive as it could have been. Even without the hiccup in the family, I don't know, especially when it's far away, if it's the right crowd for us, if it's the right venue, if it's the right avenue for us to try to access those dollars. I think that as far as networking, yes, it's very interesting to see what somebody in PEI or Quebec is facing and find out that they're facing a lot of similar issues. I just question the bang for your buck in the return. And I don't know if we're going to see that kind of a bang for your buck. I'm not sure. So there was many people, especially from Yale, one of the members from Yale, he's the mayor actually. And so tiny little town, and he said, you know, I thought the same way. And then he said, one year I came again because I'm the only person in my area. I'm it. I'm the mayor, I'm the council, I'm everybody. And so he said, I went again, and I bumped into 2 ministers, both of them, one was regarding water in the area, and then the highway and the avalanche areas that they face, and was able to get work done. That fall, it was complete. The summer they came in, they did the work that had to get done based on that meeting. He said, so is it worth it? Yeah, based on one meeting, but 4 others before that didn't mean anything, but it's just that one chance. He said, and that's what the SCM's all about. So, now I remove my report for information.
All those in favor? Councillor Panassa.
Verbal report. I know most of the events I attended were the same ones other people were at, including the Municipal Affairs Workshop, and so I won't go into too much more detail on that. That was, it was very good and stuff like that. The big highlight was yesterday was the meeting with, in Edmonton with the ministers regarding seniors and housing. We met, we had 4 MLAs there, and 3 of them were ministers. So that was very good. It's not often you get 45 minutes with the 3 ministers. We had Laurie Sigurdsson, Danielle Larrabee, and Marg McQuaid-Boyd were there, and then Debbie Jabbar was the other MLA. And with that being said, I don't know if we came out of that meeting with anything. They listened to us. They did not commit to anything. So they did say they heard us, they heard the concerns, they know what our Heart River Housing's requests are. So that was all good. You know, and they did say that there's funding available and that it will be, they're going to be looking at proposals. But we asked them some questions like, should we be getting, you know, even as Heart River Housing, should we be spending another $25,000 to get engineering drawings done or something for the new complex that we want to build? And they basically said, well, you can if you want, but if we pick your thing, then we'll have money for you to develop it. And, you know, they never committed anything. So from that point of view, it was very disheartening that they wouldn't commit to anything. But they heard, they know what we're after, they did say that once, you know, things are more finalized, they will get back to us and we can apply on some of these, on the money once the details are out there. But really, we didn't get anything. They didn't disagree with anything we said. And we asked them for things like, you know, should we do those plans, get them ready? Are we going in the right direction with some mixed market housing where we're, you know, you have the bottom floor is all commercial, and then the upstairs would be social housing. You know, is that a step where the government wants to go? Because now we're, in essence, competing with business. They never answered, right? Like, they never gave us anything really to go by. They did say they liked the idea that we could build something that was affordable and sustainable where it wouldn't cost them money in the long run. They liked that idea, but they didn't say that they would support it, right? Nothing really came out of it. So that leads me to one of the questions that we're going to need to debate is, do we want to set up our own meeting with the minister and talk to them about our housing needs and stuff like that? So, you know, it's probably another good agenda item for our next meeting, because we have other people talking about grants in lieu for us, like AUMA is promoting that and working, but do we want to do anything separate from that? Because I don't think when we left that, I didn't come out of there thinking that they really heard the hardship it costs some of our communities. And I spoke directly on that to her, and she nodded, and it was all good, but I don't know where it went. So
is it Mr. Segerson, or who is it?
yeah, she's the Minister of Seniors and Housing there. So I move my report for information. Oh.
Mayor Cox?
Actually, I think our receptionist, Nancy Tanzani, is collecting ideas as to what ministers do we want to meet with at AUMA and what do we want to meet on. And I think that this is a good item to go to the Minister of Sigerson and actually have the briefing note that we leave with her. Of course, we ask our MLA to attend with us. And I think we need to go back to that 3-part plan that was put forward, and that was the extended care wing in Pleasant View. That to me is almost a top priority rather than the third priority that Heart River has got us slotted at. Extended care is needed in this town, and the seniors are asking for it constantly. So there's that one, and then there is the apartment building, which is and that's the mixed market, isn't it?
No, well, that wasn't, Heart River's housing on that is not mixed market, but it's mixed social housing. So they would have a mixture of people at different rates of pay. Like for some people, depending on how low their income is, they might only pay $200 a month, so they get really low rents. But some people that make more money, the more money you make, the more you have to pay up to 40% of your income into a residence. And so the more you make, and then they would set it so that some was at that just below, some a little bit lower, and some a little bit lower. So it would fill those in by those, how much there would be in there. But because it wouldn't be all at the lowest level, then it could be self-sustaining because you're making a fair amount of income off of it. And the thought on why that one was a priority was the idea that we have those 55 units in our community that aren't paying taxes. It's very expensive to run those 55 single-family homes. Not all of them are single-family, but most of them are. Most of them are. So to be able to convert those, take those, sell them off, or build this other property, move the people into there, then start selling off those houses. And they take those houses, or some of them, as our intent, is be able to put them into a rent-to-own basis, where Heart River Housing basically assumes the mortgage and let them buy it off from Heart River Housing because they can't get a loan. They got terrible credit rating at the bank. But this gets them off of that rental treadmill, right?
Is this for the old, like the 55 units that we have?
Yes. So that was to get rid of them. We did talk about, we do want to see that middle care, that extended care, because right now that is a gap not only in High Prairie, but in all of these rural communities. Well, not all of them, but most of them, because we have JB Woods as the extended care, we have Pleasant View, but there's nothing for that level 3 care. In the lodge, you can stay if you're level 1 or 2. If JB Woods, you're level 4 and level 4 dementia or level 4D. But the level 3, that level in between, there's nowhere. But there's issues with that, and we could talk on that for a long time, so I don't want to go into it now. But maybe that's a good agenda item for when we want to bring something up with the minister and how we address that. It's a better time for it.
And I agree, and I think that would be something to, I do know that we want to get our meetings booked, and just the fact that we want to book them, we should be booking, and then give them a little bit of an idea what we want to talk about, and then actually then sit down and figure out how we're going to do it. So at that point, but Heart River has a different agenda than the town does.
Absolutely.
And the town has got to put their agenda forward first. So, it's good that our representative is going out to these meetings, but when we actually go to the AUMA, it's what does the town residents want? And so that would be certainly something that we need to discuss before we get into a rush and all of a sudden we're off to AUMA and we don't have our ducks in a row.
So I move my report for information.
All those in favor? Councillor Courtney.
I have a verbal report, basically. Yesterday we had a rec board meeting. Actually it was a fairly positive meeting. Ginger and Seth, they're the managers there for us at the pool. They came forward with the reports and requests of and the update of what they're getting prepped for the turnaround in November and the findings that we had with
Northwest Machine coming in and checking out some of the beams and stuff and the damage on the interior of and the findings they found. So we got the knowledge of that. And a lot of the beams have to be replaced. The structural beams of the build, not a lot of them. There's a couple beams. Actually, I shouldn't say a lot of them. So there's one main beam structure has to be replaced. It can't be just sandblasted and painted. It has to be actually replaced. And then there's some cross supports that actually on the installation were put in upside down. So they've been full of water. The tops are open and the bottoms are capped. It should have been the other way around, right? So we've found that out. So there's a plan in place to fix that, and that'll be in the turnaround in November, along with the slide removal and replacing. Plus, they're making a plan for a lot of the regrouting of the pool once the pool gets emptied. So that's going ahead. That plan was put ahead. Also, they reported they had a really good summer so far with the schools. The school swim programs and stuff. Very positive. It was really good numbers. The exact numbers, the dollars were close to 14 grand. I think it was, Linda. It was 14,000 something they've made on school swims, and that's exceptional. It's awesome, and she's created quite a really good program with all the schools and the interaction with all the other schools in the communities. It's not just the 3 and I parade. It's a whole area, like right from Jussard, a circumference of about a 50-kilometer Bellevue, Falero, Donley.
14,000 is from other communities, right?
Yeah, that's income over and above, right? So it's really good. I think they're doing great. Yeah, so that's just some update from the pool. The arena, right now Ricky's doing a lot of painting and fixing, and so we've putting out to tender or asking for tenders for the bathrooms, actually all the bathrooms in the main bathrooms, and then the bathrooms in the dress rooms. We're gonna get a quote to see what it's gonna cost. We don't have that cost, so we need to do something here before we open up for the mass people in September, right? So that's going ahead. We're gonna find out some numbers on that. So that was that meeting. I went to an airport meeting earlier today, but we didn't have enough members, so we didn't have the meeting. But we still had a nice visit. But anyways, so the new manager's out there. I don't know if anybody's aware of that.
Did he come out today?
The manager, yeah. Mel was there, Mel Badette. He's now looking after the airport, which is great. We toured around and showed all the things that he's doing there. Already improving over what was there last month, right? And he toured us around and showed all the renovations that they're still ongoing. And man, oh man, they're doing great work out there. It's starting to really take shape. It's beautiful. Also there was Jake Fear from Lacrete. He owns pardon? Yes, that's right. He flew in today for the meeting, and so we had a good visit with him. He supplies the fuel in the fuel tanks that we own out there. He's a contractor that handles the fuel. So had a good meeting with him and watched him take off in his nice little plane. It was nice, but all in all, going through the new improvements there, it's leaps and bounds from what it was. They're really cleaning it up. So a lot of money spent there. So and a lot more money to come yet to spend there. So, but we're gonna have another meeting coming up here to offset this one. So.
Do you know if they're going to be able to do the paving the extension of the runway when they're gonna do the highway?
Yes, that's in play. That's been asked to transportation for the maybe the resurfacing of the runway, and some other. The county has asked for other as well as that, right? So that's in play. So whether we don't have a full confirmation of whether that's actually going to happen, but it's been requested. So, but that won't. They're going to be doing that next summer, right? That's when the resurfacing is going to start on the main highway coming through. So,
Do we have increase in what it's going to cost to do the pool with the newfound beam issues?
yeah, there was a quote. There was quotes put in, which with all the beam fixing and replacing and everything, I think the actual Northwest bill was going to be 20 with GST and everything was 26,000.
Wasn't it 8,000?
No, it was 26,000.
Okay. It's the beam that holds up the slide. That's the only beam. It's a,
Well, it's a structural beam beside the slide also, yeah.
but it's not in danger of collapsing.
No, but it's, no.
I'm thinking the people hearing this right now.
I know, it's.
No, it's yeah, no, let me rephrase that.
Assure the people out there it's
it's-
safe.
Yes, it's safe, but it is the main structure of the building that we have to brace and support and change out and redo mainly for health reasons because of the amount of oxidization from the rusting and the rot and the metal, right? So that's questions.
Anybody have any? Councillor Gilroy.
Actually, I want to say that you've got your rec director. I want to say kudos to her. I love the fact, though I don't think it's very well known, that they rent out the pool for birthday parties, and they rent out the ice for birthday parties.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people in this community know that. There are some that take advantage of it, but I'm not sure. I think there could be a. I think that.
Sure.
And I think that's a wonderful way to extra fundraising, to really promote that extra that would help supplement their budgets. So I love the creativity.
Any other questions?
I move my verbal report for information.
All those in favor? Okay, and I have a written report.
Oh no, that's all good.
Anybody has any questions on that? The only other thing that I'll mention, one, I have a report on the FCM that I joined Councillor Long at, but I don't have it for this meeting. I'll have it for next meeting. And but the one thing that I wanted to mention to this council, and I think there'll be a call to administration here next week, and that's why I wanted to let this council sort of know about it, was just about a trade show item that Nancy's wearing. You're advertising it? Council made me do it, but it's underneath it says with all net meetings. So this is a software for, it's a meeting software. And I know we had sort of talked about this in the past, but I know it's been a bit of a challenge. This is probably the most attractive thing to me when they were showing me the demonstration was that you can search things very easily. So if it was a motion and it was about the golf course, you could just type in the word golf and you could find all the motions that had ever been put into this system. So it would only be new meetings going forward unless you were able to put in old stuff. But it was a way for this council to continue to be able to find things and search, and future councils then to have a system in place that you could always search more easily. It's a time-saving thing. So I've talked to administration a little bit about it could use more time. There's lots of things that we ask them to do. This software has a lot of features on it that allows administration to build an agenda package really efficiently, and then to come to the meeting and report and to prepare the minutes again more effectively and efficiently. And we have the ability to use the software as well. We can go back to using the tablets. You can go to your own iPad or whatever system that you want to use And it's a web-based program, so it's not quite the same as what we were looking at before. We were having some security issues, having to find correspondence and stuff. All the correspondence can be attached in it, and it allowed us as council to be able to make notes. If you weren't going to be at a council meeting, you can indicate, you know, like after you've read the agenda package, here's my thoughts kind of thing. That would just be for council's information. So there was a lot of features. It did allow us to share it as well with the, like I said, well, what about something like that we have a joint rec board and a recreation director that prepares agendas and minutes, and we would be able to share it as well. So I thought maybe we would want to take a look at it. But for starters, set up just a meeting for administration to take a look at the software, and then they're willing to do a remote where we can all take a look at the software. And I think, did you do that, Brian, before with some software application for a survey or something like that? Or yeah, same sort of thing. We can do it from home. If anybody was interested in actually taking a look at it, but because she's sort of on a time frame with some of these things, she was going to make a phone call next week just to see if administration wanted to take a look at that. And if anybody doesn't have any questions on my report, I will move my report for information. All those in favor? Carried. So, do we want a small break for the camera? Okay. Do we have to make a motion to go into camera? No. After.
We'll take a 5-minute break.